John Kavakis here with another edition of My Take. And today we're going to take a look at GLM's 1972 Lincoln Continental Mark IV. Special model for me. Let me tell you why. Continental is, well, it used to have this mystique about it. There was just something about a Continental. From its very earliest versions, it was the top-of-the-line flagship for the Ford Motor Company. They were luxurious, they were exotic. Continental was a really good name for it because it evoked the European continent and all the class for all those folks over there, Monaco, that sort of thing. So it remained a Lincoln flagship through 1948, then it kind of disappeared. Then in 1956, Ford debuted the Continental Mark II. Now this was a groundbreaker in a lot of ways. For one thing, it was the most luxurious, mostly hand-built version of a Ford ever made before. It was very expensive for their time, somewhere around $10,000 or so. But it also was supposed to be its own division. There was going to be the Continental division. Now that car lasted 1956 and 1957. The car sold okay, but they were very expensive to make. And supposedly Ford lost money on every one of them, but they kind of set the standard for 50s design. It was clean, it was sharp, it didn't have all the chrome that was starting to develop on the 50s cars and everything, so it really was set apart, and a lot of people look back and see the design as iconic for the 50s. So that version lasted through 1957, and then maybe what a lot of people don't realize, for 1958 there was a Mark III version. Now this was built on a standard Lincoln frame and body. There were some trim differences, but there wasn't a whole lot to distinguish the Continentals from the Lincolns and the Marks from the standard Lincolns and that sort of thing. But that continued. In 1959 there was a Mark IV, and again another version of the Lincoln, and then for 1960 there was even a Mark V. Now Ford doesn't really like to talk about those, and maybe to you that's evident why. It's a matter of taste whether or not you like those Lincolns or not, but Ford kind of ignored them. Continental stayed in the lineup, but there were no Mark series until 1969 when Lincoln brought back the Mark series with a vengeance with the Mark III, the 1969 Continental Mark III. Now this car was heavily based on the Thunderbird body, and Lincoln had been that way since 1961. You can see it there in the front cowl, but the car was really distinctive. The Thunderbird was distinctive back then too, but the Mark III was just a set apart. The interior was absolutely gorgeous. It was a personal sized car, but it was large, it was powerful, it had that very unique grille in the front, just a beautiful car, and it was a smash success. 1969, 1970, 1971. For 1972, there was an all-new design, still heavily based on the Thunderbird, but had that distinctive grille. It had the right-size bumpers. The big bumpers weren't going to come for another year in the back, and then eventually in 74 in the front. Nothing to mar the design. Very clean design. It had opera windows in the back, those portals in the back, set a design trend that lasted all the way through the 70s and into the 80s, and again, a really luxurious interior. Still the flagship for the Ford Motor Company, still unique, still personal size, just a beautiful car and a nice evolution of the Mark III design from 1969. So GLM, I think, has captured this image almost perfectly, and they made it available in 3 colors. I got 2 of them here, but I'll describe all 3 of them. They sent me 2 black ones instead of one of the green ones, but it's going to come in heather green. There's a factory picture on it, red moon dust, and what is known as Regent Black. Now I've got 2 black ones here. One says Regent Black, the other one just says black. Either one, it's the same color and the same lustrous finish. Let's get them out of the box, put it on the turntable, and take a look at them, and I'll come back and make some more comments. Here's the red moon dust and the black. You can see the finish is really superb. Detail's fantastic. We'll get into that in a little bit. Here's what I like about what Stamp and GLM is doing with their trim. You know, models this size have a lot of photo etch. If you're going to get the accuracy, you need to have something like photo etch to get down to something that is scale correct. But they've got a different trim process, which not only is scale correct, but it's more durable than photo etch. And actually it looks a lot better because it's size appropriate, so it doesn't have the flatness that photo etch would have. It really adds to the realism of the model. Take a look at the front clip. They've got that grill perfect. The chrome is great. Side marker lights have a lot of dimension to it. Great lenses on those. But the badging, everything's there. You get a good look at the finish here and how reflective it is of the light. Back of the car is just as detailed. Look at those tiny lenses in the tail lights in the bumper. Really well done. Badging here kind of stands out. The lock cover on the trunk lid, really well done. Continental picked out very nicely. And the wheel covers, really nice replications of the wheel covers. The interior is kind of dark, so it's hard to pick out the detail, but it is incredibly detailed with a gray dash, really authentic looking seats and door panels. You get in there when you get one and shine your light in there and see what a great job they've done on the interior. Here's the red moon dust, and this is one you really need to have in hand to see how great the finish is. There's just enough fleck in it to make it metallic, and it really is spectacular underneath the lights. One last look at them on the turntable. You can see both of these models are really, really well done. The green one would make a really nice set. So there they are, GLM's 1972 Lincoln Continental Mark IV. I think you agree, it's a really nice looking model. Going to retail somewhere right around $130 or so. You're going to want to check with your dealer to make sure that the tariffs haven't had an impact on the prices. So far we haven't seen it. We haven't seen the apocalypse in 143rd models that we were expecting. The prices just aren't showing up at the retail level. Maybe that's going to hold, maybe not. Don't take any chances. If you see it and it's the right price, grab it now. GLM stamp models have a tendency to sell out really quickly. Hey, I want to appreciate your time. The channel's doing really well, and it all happens on your encouragement and your participation. So if you like this video, give me a like down there in the right-hand corner. Love to have you as a subscriber. So we're reaching audiences we haven't seen before, and I've got a lot more coming down the pike. I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Thank you.